Everybody, welcome back. Today we're gonna do. Let's try that again. Today we're gonna do The Rush from Vault Comics issue number 2. Yeah, we're gonna do this cowboy Yukon Gold Rush with a supernatural twist. If you want to know what's going on, check out the first issue. I mean, this is the second issue of my review that I did a couple of weeks ago, I guess, on my channel. And leave a like, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. Let's dive in because the woman, the main protagonist, has a dream about this guy is getting killed, right? And she is waking up. Well, in the last issue, she's been fainted. She's been carried to this town here where Inspector Lapointe picked her up and took her here. Well, it's not really a town, I guess, more like a camp, right? And she had dreams about a man in black and a giant black spider and a fellow with a mustache dying by violence, right? And so the inspector says, him. Folks call him the Pale. He's sort of a road agent. I suppose Buck swipes people on a whim, never stole a dime that I ever heard, he says. So she says, I have to find my son. Well, it seems that her son died and he's been buried, I believe. And he says he was taken by the Pale. We had a service, nothing to bury, but I believe anyone present would certify it was a real appointment, man, real respectful. And she, in the first place, she didn't register his words because she says, ma'am, and then she is crying or wailing. And there's people outside, I don't know, spitting? Is that maybe a tradition about, something, or I don't know? Because I believe this is in the 1800s. I forgot the timeline, but it's maybe the 1900s, 1700s. I'm not entirely sure. But it's in the mountains where people have gold rush and all that stuff. Really cool, the claim. And then she's sleeping, has more vivid dreams about her boy, and she believes that her boy is still alive, right? I mean, that's in her head. And so he says, I thank you for the bed, Inspector. I wonder, would you indulge me a mite further? I discover myself unseemly hungry, and I believe we must talk. Okay, so they go to this hotel, and she wants to stay here, but the inspector says, well, that's probably not a good idea because Brookhoof, which is the town, I guess, isn't safe. Also, she is a woman alone, and with a lot of men, and back in the day, woman alone brings trouble and all that stuff and superstition. And but she's a little bit rude, and she was also with her person that protects her. She also was rude to him, and that rudeness is still here. So this inspector gives her some advice, and she says, I appreciate the concern, sir, for which I hope you will permit me buy you breakfast, but I do not solicit it for your advice. So he says, as for the breakfast, man, I'm grateful, but it's not a question of permit, it's a question of afford. So he says, eggs, chops, beans, they endured more trials than Moses just to get here. See for yourself. So we see here that it's $30 for a meal. How does anybody ever eat? Well, now most mornings you just wait. Here we go. And then this guy comes in and he says, Bonanza, ring the bell, eggs and chops, wine and coffee too. And he hasn't wants them. So it seems that people, like I said, have gold rush and they are striking gold, but it does not extend so far as keeping the dance stuff. The ones who did hit pay dirt, like Benny here, they eat and drink like gluttons and stand in the rest. He gambled till his dust pokes empty. And when the dance hall whore's sleeping, he'll stumble back to his claim and break ice all night. Tomorrow, it's someone else's turn. So I also like that they are talking with certain words back in the day that was common, but that those words are probably disappeared today because we are, now 100 years later. So I thought, what do you mean with claim? So I think that's some kind of a place when they claim some kind of a digging spot and nobody can touch that. There's some kind of a rule or they pay for it. And only if they are, vacating that claim to someone else, that other person can, claim that site and dig it also too. Just a guess, but that's what I'm thinking and what is happening here. Since I read this comic here, and that's, I'm not very familiar with how it went back in the day, but that's just my guess. Anyway, so she says, what an extraordinary routine. If I'm candid with you, ma'am, I believe it's more a disease than a custom, right? So we have a lot of exposition here. And then she has, I don't know, some kind of a vision flash with the spider legs behind her. And he says, Miss Bridger, well, I'm well, MP, well, that's this guy's name, a headache. Man, you took quite a tumble last night. Could you just still my son is alive. I dreamed it and seem to be dreaming many uncommon things. Miss Bridger, this place, it does uncanny things. He's alive and that's that. All right. I need you to listen to me now, just once without this stubborn affectation, however righteous it serve your pride. And she says, how dare you? Well, he speaks over her. Folks who knew here, folks who haven't succumbed to their affliction, I so poetically expound not a moment ago, mostly broke hoof lets them leave. Lets them? What on earth are you talking about? Say, Onion, why things are so queer here? So he asked the opinions of the other people that is sitting here, and they gave all their opinions about certain things that happening here. So this guy says it's the Piskies. Fella saves long as he leaves a cream at the dig. Bullshit. It's the leshy of whole country in the woods. Only cold iron would stop him. Then this drunk guy says, any fool can tell it's the water. A mineral impurity catalyzing derangement. Stick to the champagne, he says. And the other one says, no, it's the heathens and the Wendigo and cannibals and devils. So, and this guy says, well, I'm out of here. I'm not going to do this. I'm out of town. So he says, town's favorite topic. Even so, it's fearful rare someone leaves. Your lawyer friend there is an outlier, assuming he really does attempt it. So they're all cursed or crazy? Why not you? Ah, the badge. Her Imperial Majesty decrees an officer may not stake a mining claim nor accept bribes from any those that may. Love it. So they're going outside and she has, again, that vision again. So MP goes with her because he's protecting her. So he's a little bit worried. I said, are you reckon? You up to this, Miss B? I can reckon what you gain to hope to gain. Don't start, MP. I wish to see my son's claim. I'm endured quite enough hogwash from one morning from the Redcoat. Honestly now, confusing base avarice with some malady. like the wordplay here, like. So he says, gold dust ain't the same as greed. It ain't the wanting drives these sore dorks mad. It's the fear of someone else getting it first. Changes a feller, that fear. Changes a whole damn country could be. And against that, I mean, even a woman as formidable as, but she's stopping him. I'm staying here and that's the end of it. My son's alive, I feel it. Besides, it's passing rich from one prospector to scorn the whole tribe. What makes you so objective in commentary? Now, here's the fun part. So he says, I was given to understand you didn't much care for the complexities of my character, man. So yeah, in the last issue, he gave her some advice, and then she is basically belittling him, and say, hey, I don't want to want to hear your opinions. You're here to protect me and you do as you're told, right? And then she's pausing a little bit and she is apologizing. And he says, I fear my anxieties as to my son made me impolite on our journey here. Now that I know he's alive, on account of this dream, on account of my dream, I find I am receptive to camaraderie. I love her. I beg your pardon. Henley McDoodle. I love as soon as I seen her. But the trapping trade don't raise enough to overcome the distinctions twixt to her station and mine. So her daddy said anyways. Fortune, I seek for loves, ma'am, not profit. That's well said, Mr. Time. If you don't mind my asking, how long have you pursued this romantic ideal? 20 years. Oh, man. 20 years, hereabouts. But she waits for me. Still, I'm sure. It's like you said, I feel it. Oh man, I feel so bad for this guy. Probably she has moved on and he's still, trying to prove his love for her and, getting daddy's graces, I guess. Damn, harsh. So they go to this claim here, and there's other people here as well on the claim. Hey, fuck you. Hey, Wagtail, I'm talking to you. Sir, you at the back here. You're monstrous. I've seen it before. Do I know you? You don't want to bother old Hamish lady. This here's a productive claim. Not as big as roaches. He's busy digging is all. And he's digging in his arm, and there's some kind of a golden glow that you barely can see. And his veins are open, and then, I don't know, something is... Did he pluck the big nugget of gold out of his arm? What's going on? You calm down here. Chickabiddy might earn a rock or two on your own. All right, you all scapegraces. Listen up, this is Mrs. Bridger. That son stalked this claim. All we want is answers. We posted their pony for the scribble, man. We wasn't first to buy it, but as current, them our names on the stakes. And then there's something is talking about, something else. And she said, who's that man? Now, just hold a minute here, man. I reckon these fine fellas was just about to show us their paperwork, all done and proper, from the claims registry in Dawson, being my meaning. I don't see if it's any of your goddamn business. You just settle here, Shadrach. So, now it's getting good. We got our papers right here. He says, shit, my hand is still busted. And then he wants to shoot, and oh no, it's the ice. The deuce damn ice got in the... Gentlemen, leave now. And this guy says, you ain't bluffing. She ain't. And he shoots off his ear, and they're running away. He says, beg pardon. Okay. And that's getting a little bit wilder. Miss Bridger, I think these fellows struck here. This claim, I don't give a single loose shit for the claim. You help me find my boy. It's yours. And all for Henny McDoodle, of course. All right. So she says, I will going back to the hotel. But then she's looking away, and he hears that voice of this guy. I've seen her. Didn't I tell him? Sure, I did. Seen her under the ice. And then there's some kind of golden fog, and the crows here, or the birds, are scared. And then she sees something, right? Well, she's going back, and she sees this elk, I guess. Looks really big. She's stopped here all in shock. She wants to run away. She falls, but she wants to scream, but there's no one here, which is weird, right? And then she hears a shooting, coom, coom, coom. And then we see this guy being shot in the head. And she says, this was Lord of Marty Caleb. This is his. And then we see this hooded man, the pail, I guess. He carries these bodies around with him. They all leave your love. What? Children, I mean. All them arrows and lullabies and you put in. And all the love, God willing, one way or another, body your brain, so they never stay. What are you talking about? Sure, the best you can hope is that when you move on, when you're left all alone, at least you got the consolation of knowing you did right by him. This guy's mad. And we see this webbing and spider legs. For as long as you could, he says. And then we see is this guy riding a giant spider. Looks sick, man. Looks really good. I mean, I love the art. A little bit more. I'm not also a big fan of the coloring. I mean, the background, the sky color is basically the same as the snow here, with a lot of blues. I wish it was, I don't know, a little bit clearer with the air, a little bit more lighter blue, I see the difference. Especially here, it's blending a little bit together, but probably it's deliberate, creating some kind of an atmosphere. But that's besides that, I'm really digging this. And then she is asking this guy that is practicing a law, and she gives him the gold nugget, and he says, hey, a proxy, sir, a qualified man to visit the claims registry in Dawson. I can pay. My son is 16, sir, prohibited by law, that is on account of his youth, from declaring a placer's claim. So I inspected the stakes while I was there. He used his daddy's name. All right. Whatever become of my boy, license to dig that strip's being traded over and over. As I see it, there's no lawful way someone could have broken that first sale. Not with his daddy 400 miles distant in Skagway. I want to know who did the deal. It's fraud at least, wouldn't you say? All I'm asking is that you check. For profited by my son's disappearance. You just could write me, send him with the next caravan, you know. So he says, well, I'll be in touch, man. So he goes away with the Huskies, and then blood spatter. And he says, shh, don't turn around. And he grabs an eye. And that leads us to the next issue. I don't know what's going on. I'm so intrigued. I love the immersion. The immersion is great here. I love the supernatural aspect. You know, there's not much action in here, but the like I said, the mystery here of what's going on in this town and the gold rush of the crazy people, you know, and also, and you know, this weird stuff going around. I like it. I like it a rush. I like it a lot. I like it a rush. So yeah, The Rush. Guys, let me know what you think about it in the comments. Do you like it? Do you want to see more? Leave a comment below, and you know, see you next time. Bye bye.